Hi guys, welcome back to Goalsetting Fitness. Please subscribe if you like this video and want to see more videos like this. I recently posted a transformation photo of myself and a number of you had asked for me to go into more detail about what went into me creating that transformation, and this video will go into a bit of depth of how I feel I've made sort of change to my physique and also my attitude towards health and fitness. And I will be breaking this down into 4 key points. The first of these factors that I found that influenced my transformation is exercise. Being somebody that has played rugby for most of their life, exercise and the idea of exercising regularly has been something that I have done often. However, there is a massive difference between exercising simply just to be able to play a game of rugby or for training purposes, and that of training to see differences in your physique or body transformation. At the beginning of this, I decided to get a personal trainer. My personal trainer is at Marcus Kindle Fitness, and his Instagram will be put up here. If you like any of my content, you'll love his content. The guy's a machine. And with Marcus, myself and him, we organised a fitness schedule for myself, something that I could stick to, but something that was actually going to really push me, make me achieve the goals that I wanted to achieve. I would say that when exercising with that sort of idea in your head that you want to sort of make a change to yourself, there is a certain level of intensity that you have to exercise at if you really are serious about making that transformation. That being said, it can be seen as a negative to be wanting to push towards that sort of massive intensity. However, when doing it, I found myself initially thinking and resenting going in to really push myself, but I actually found myself getting used to it and actually becoming more excited by it and wanting to really smash it. The second factor that I found that has influenced my body transformation is diet. One of the key fundamentals of my diet at the moment is that I'm plant-based. I've been plant-based since January 2020. And I personally feel that it has massive changes in my attitude towards food and what I'm putting into my body. If you'd like to see a video on me talking about my sort of plant-based diet and what I eat, feel free to leave a comment. I'm more than happy to talk about it. It might be something that's sort of new to a few people, but personally I think it's one of the best decisions I've decided to make. As well as being plant-based, I've ensured that all of the food that I am eating is innately healthy. I like to follow a principle of 80-20, which is 80% good, healthy foods and 20% of the more treat-like foods. By doing that, it makes me think that it's not constantly salads and granola, but if I want to have a pizza one night, it's not the end of the world. Ensuring that every single meal that I eat as well has like a good amount of calories in. I have used many different ideas of dieting and weight loss and whatnot, but the one key principle is to make sure that you don't undereat when you're looking at doing a sort of big weight loss transformation. I found that there are a number of good calorie calculators online. My personal one that I like to use is Awesome Supplements calorie calculator. I'll leave a link to that calorie calculator in the description of this video for you to use if you choose to. By doing a calorie calculator, it gives you just an idea of what you should be eating and making sure that you A, don't undereat and B, don't massively overeat. A big idea that I have focused on my diet is the idea that making sure that I'm keeping an eye on what I'm putting in to my body to make sure that I'm getting the most out of my body, as I feel that when you're trying to take things more seriously with your health and with weight and attitude towards your own body, if you're filling yourself with foods that might not tend to be the most healthy or might not tend to be the most nutritious, it can sort of have a negative impact on your motivation. But I always feel like if I'm filling myself up with good healthy foods, most of the time at least, my motivation stays pretty solid. One of the massively influencing elements on my diet is the cut down on alcohol. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that if you want to lose weight or have a better attitude towards your body, you need to completely cut out drinking. However, I personally feel that a cut down on alcohol is going to give you the best step forward in the right direction. I like a beer as much as the other guy, but if you want to take it a bit more seriously, I personally think that it's like an important step to make. Not even just completely cutting it out, but cutting down massively, just to make you really have an idea of what you're putting in your body, and understanding that, like, if you are going to be drinking, that you're going to have to make the sacrifice that maybe the day after you're not going to train as hard as you want to, or you're not going to be seeing the right gains or the right losses that you want to see in like a week, 2 weeks post that drinking session. And finally, and probably one of the most fundamental elements that I found really affected myself and how I can like stick to a healthy diet. When I'm trying to eat as healthy as possible, I find that eating with other people that are either eating the exact same food as me or similar healthy food is like a massive positive. The third factor that I found that has influenced my body transformation is the attitude towards myself and also motivation. I would say at the beginning of this transformation, when I was weighing in at 125 kilos, which is the heaviest I've ever weighed, wasn't particularly happy, and I wasn't particularly like fine with me being that size. I was just sort of, I was that big and there was not much I thought I could really do about it. It wasn't until I went to my local GP, I was told that there was a risk of high blood pressure and all the related illnesses that go along with that. Did I really try and take it seriously? I found that I could have possibly had massive weight related issues with my physical and mental health in the not so near future if I didn't decide to make a massive change. One of the biggest things I had to focus on when I was talking about attitudes with my health, and attitudes towards myself even, was that I had to try and teach myself that healthy eating and training well and being consistent with that training and that healthy eating isn't to be seen as a punishment. I always found that going to the gym was the idea that you'd have to go there, otherwise you would get fat and you would get unhealthy, and then you would go on a slippery slope. And I found that in my past that I do have a tendency to relax on health and fitness, and my health suffers ultimately. But it's through the fact of me teaching myself that they're not punishments, they're actually positives. And like I've spoken about previously, if you're exercising, it should be for you to feel better about yourself, not to sort of make up for something that you think you've done wrong. And as well as the attitude of putting the best things into your body to make sure that you can get the best out of it. I would say most of my teenage years have been focused towards dieting and trying to be a certain sort of way, which might seem unhealthy, and looking back on it, it probably massively was, but in my head there was not much I could have really done about that, and it has ingrained a lot of negative ideas and aspects to my understanding of health and fitness. Over this past 4 months, I've really tried to sort of get rid of those conceptions that I've got of health and fitness and everything to do with eating healthy, training hard, and everything in between. When you have been feeling like you've been dieting for so long, you eventually hit a point where you want to rebound, and you go, I'll sod all of this and I'll just go through a couple of months of binging and not feeling great about yourself. The one thing that I've massively changed is the fact that I don't allow myself to get to those points, and that's a lot to do with the attitude I have of 80-20. Finally, putting myself and my health first over other things has been really crucial to myself. I've not foregone not having treats or not going out and going to the pub, this, that, other, but I've decided to make more of a conscious decision to think about what's the knock-on effect, and is this going to be more of a short-term fix to a long-term problem. And one of the ideas that I like to sort of stick to is that consistency is key. Being consistent with healthy eating and dieting doesn't necessarily come naturally to people if they aren't putting themselves first. And finally, the fourth factor that I've found that's influenced my body transformation so far is goal setting. Goal setting might be something that's completely new to a few people, and to me it was to some degree. Even though I had heard of it before, I wasn't quite sure about how to go about doing it, and as well as that, making them achievable goals. so many times in my past that I've like thought, okay, if I can lose a stone, or I can like take off 5 kilos in 2 weeks and then I'll be alright and I'll be fine and everything could be okay then. I was like sort of kidding myself. What I decided to do at the beginning of this journey was to completely void my head of goals. I didn't want to think about anything. I just wanted to try and see what I could do and then set some goals after I had sort of an idea of what I could do. The first goal I decided to set, and which is completely credit to Marcus, is actually finish one of the workouts. And I'm not ashamed to say, for the first week and a half, every one of my workouts was split in the middle with me running to the toilet to be sick. And you could say that that's like a very high intensity to be working at, and that's like, that's not particularly healthy, but I really wanted to show myself that if I wanted to take this seriously, I really wanted to push myself as hard as I possibly could. And within a week and a half, I think it was the end of second week, I had completed the HIIT workouts that I do with Marcus, and that was a really awesome feeling to actually feel like you really can take control of it and actually achieve one of the goals. And you feel like, even if it's the most like tiny goal possible, it's something that you feel like you've achieved, and it's something that you wouldn't have said you've been able to do a week ago. That then led on to me being able to focus my goals maybe towards more weight loss and transformation of my physique. Like I said earlier, I think that if you want to just say, oh, I'm going to lose 20 kilos and that's going to be great, like it almost sounds so impossible, because it is almost impossible to just say that you're going to lose X amount and that amount be massive. And that, in my opinion, what I've decided to start doing is to break them down and make the goals more manageable. And by being more manageable, they're increasingly more achievable. And then by having these more achievable goals, it all links together and it just makes me feel more motivated. I'll give myself a pat on the back, and that will motivate me to then go, okay, where am I going to go next? Am I going to lose another 2? Am I going to lose another 5? But I decided to set 5s and go down to where I am now. And that was a lot more achievable and really, really motivated me. I did find though that with regards to weight loss, you might find that the first couple of weeks you're losing a lot quite drastically. In my case I did, but it does tend to slow and it does tend to plateau, and then that's when having a trainer like Marcus has really, really helped, because when I have started to hit those plateaus, he can then switch up the program, can change up what I'm doing to really just like work out a different muscle group or push a different style of endurance, and then you sort of break that plateau. To sort of finish this little video off, I personally feel that like I'm so ultimately proud of what I've achieved over the past 4 months, and that the changes that I've made to myself and to my like mental health and my attitude towards health and fitness and everything in between is something that I'm really proud of. I'm nowhere near finished yet, and I'm nowhere near the level that I think I want to be, but it's all about achieving these goals, and that has been like ultimately the biggest motivator to me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. As well as that, if you want to ask any questions about the 4 factors that I've spoken about, feel free to leave them in the comments. Feel free to DM me on my Instagram, which is @CortonFitness_. So yeah.